live from Mumbai. Whether you are a student, researcher, or simply curious about digital safety, thank you for being here. Before we begin, here are the quick notes. This session is being held on Google Meet, so please keep your mic muted to avoid any background noises. If you have any questions during the talk, please type them in the chat box or use the question answer box. We will have a detailed session after the webinar. Please be respectful in the chat. This is a safe professional space to learn and to discuss. We live in a world where our phones, social media, and online payments are as personal as our wallets and diaries. Cybercrime is no longer someone else's problem. It touches privacy, identity, reputation, and sometimes even personal safety. Today's talk is not just about technology, it's about law, rights, and accountability in the ever-changing digital landscape. The webinar is organized by Maharashtra Legal Right Consortium under WICCI's National Legal Rights Consortium. I am extremely honored to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Deesha Khaire, Associate Professor of Law and Chairperson at Maharashtra National Legal University, Nagpur. Dr. Khaire brings deep academic insight and practical understanding of cyber law, policy, and contemporary legal framework. Today, she will unpack the latest development, the legal challenges we face, and how law can face with emerging threats. Without further ado, Dr. Deesha, the stage is yours. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nena. And I think I just figured out that I wasn't in a position to hear you properly. So there seems to be some network issue. So for the purpose of clarity, I'll keep my video on a off mode, and I'll keep the presentation on the screen. Is it fine? And just confirm whether I'm audible or not.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you. Is the screen visible? Is the presentation?
Yes,
ma'am.
And just tell me if I think it's the. I hope it's not mirroring the presentation. Is it? No, I don't think. Give me a minute. Technology has its own ways to show that it is something that we can't totally rely on, right? Is it? No. I think there's some issue because when I'm sharing the presentation, it's not actually moving the slides. Let me know now with this whether it is moving.
Now it's moving, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, and the first slide probably is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Great. So, a very warm welcome and good morning to everyone who have taken the time to attend this particular session. And before I begin with the session, let me take this opportunity to actually appreciate and thank the Maharashtra Legal Right Consortium, who, in association with WICCI and in collaboration with National Legal Rights Consortium, has actually taken this initiative to organize a seminar or a webinar on this very contemporary topic, which is cybercrime in digital age, and not merely restricting it to cybercrimes in digital age. I must appreciate that it is wherein I'm going to get an opportunity to discuss with you all the legal challenges as well as the emerging threats. Now, when you talk about cybercrime per se and the current digital age, or for that matter, when we say that it is the virtual world or the virtual life that we talk about, we can actually bifurcate it, segregate it under a lot of, again, subheadings. So, cybercrime can be categorized wherein we can say a crime which is made with the use of a device, a crime which is used or has happened as far as a particular stakeholder is concerned, wherein again the service provider can be there, or a crime wherein a particular user is involved. Now, when you talk about users also, we have different categories of users. So users per se, women, users per se, kids or adult generation. Cyber crimes probably can again have different, what you can say, types, which includes again cyber crimes, which involves finances. So we have something on the lines wherein now we are talking about the fintech kind of a sub-discipline, which talks about not only the finances, the technology, as well as the crimes which are happening with respect to the combination of the finance sector as well as technology sector. At the same time, when you talk about crime or an offense and an act which is considered to be not accepted by the society at large, this can be again against a woman, against a society, against a particular community per se. It can be with respect to someone's reputation, it can be with respect to someone's again personal data. We all know that when it comes to again the right to privacy per se, something that has been upheld by the Supreme Court and categorically been said in K. Puttaswamy's decision, that right to privacy is very much a part of a fundamental right, Part 3 of the Constitution. It is a fundamental right. And the way we are now looking at how this particular, again, journey of the jurisprudence as far as right to privacy is concerned. So when you talk of privacy being there, we were more concerned about protecting our person. We were more concerned about someone infringing into our places as such, okay? Or for that matter, if I have to talk about the physical world, then someone entering into my home or entering into a space which I called it to be belonging to my own, or having it ownership of that particular place. So any intervention used to be considered as right to privacy. However, the journey that we look into when you talk about privacy per se, we have traveled from bodily or physical privacy to something which is again been decided by the Honorable Supreme Court in K. Puttaswamy's case, and that is the informational privacy. So this is nothing but the scale that we are talking about as to how things are now changing when it comes to our lives, when it comes to what matters to us. So it is not merely what is happening in the real world that matters to us, but at the same time, when you talk about your own life, having or living the life parallelly in the virtual world, or for that matter cyberspace, that also is having equal or rather more impact on our lives. And thereby, that is why this whole topic becomes very, very contemporary, has a lot of significance and relevance in today's scenario. What I want to actually do today with all the participants for this webinar is I'm going to take you to a journey. And this journey is going to be, again, understanding cybercrime. And before we understand what cybercrime is all about, I'll just quickly brief you about cyber space per se, and then gradually we'll look into the legal challenges, the emerging threats, the preventive measures and solutions, and we'll just have a special focus quickly on women and cyber crimes. And then if time permits, then we will definitely have question and answers. And in case the time do not permit us, then I'm really open to address all your queries as far as my contact details are concerned. So you can write to me. I'll be sharing again my mail ID with you. So let's begin this journey. Now, what is it? It is about cybercrime. So cybercrime, that means first we need to understand what is this cyber is and where these cyber crimes are happening. So cyber crimes basically are happening in cyberspace. Now, what is this cyberspace? So this particular image on your screen actually clearly indicates this whole concept called cyberspace and what kind of relevance that this particular image has when it comes to today's topic. So when you talk about this image, probably what you can see is a person with a hoodie wherein the face is not visible. Then there is a globe about boundaries as far as the globe is concerned, and then there is a device, and then there are actually certain numbers, etc., etc. Now, how and why I'm saying that this image itself conveys what the cyberspace is and how it is relevant for us from the point of view of discussing it from the challenges as far as legal challenges are concerned and the emerging threats are concerned. Now, I want you to pay attention to this particular fact that whenever we talk about crime, definitely we are more concerned about if anything goes wrong with me, there should be an enforcement authority agency who should take care of me if something goes wrong. And not only that, but at the same time, there should not be anything that should go wrong with me for that also. So prevention should also be there with respect to my, again, what, my body, my my reputation, and again my property per se. Now, for this, when you talk about the real world or the physical world, you have again what? You have concept wherein you talk about jurisdiction of a particular enforcement agency. So we have three organs, we have judiciary, legislative, and executive. All these three organs actually depending upon the, what you can say, the jurisdiction. So how do we get this power to administer justice, to maintain law and order in the society? When we go back to international law, and which says that what are the important characteristics which must be there in order to have a proper law and order in the country or in the state. So we must have population, we must have borders, we must have government, we must have again defined territory. Okay, so that is how, and should have a sovereignty also. Now, when you talk about all these things, then we see that there is, at least to some extent, law and order is being maintained. But when you talk about cyberspace, unfortunately, the characteristics of these this particular space is, it is borderless, it is faceless, and it is paperless. Now, when I say paperless, that means, or for that matter, when I talk about all three characteristics of cyberspace, it is something wherein it becomes really difficult to have a jurisdiction to regulate things which are happening, because anything can be done from anywhere and it can impact on anything, and that too again anywhere. So basically, this whole concept of having a defined borders doesn't work in the cyberspace. Now, when you talk about faceless, it is wherein we talk about the population, wherein we talk about a physical body as to, yes, someone has done this. It is either someone is a citizen of a particular country, a migrant, a refugee, or some or the other, or what you can say is foreign ambassador, national, etc., etc. So these identities are there. But when it comes to cyberspace, unfortunately, the identities that we have is merely our IP address. Okay, it is not that we are being whatever names that we want to give, we can give ourselves as far as cyberspace is concerned. But the main identity is that how we are being identified is with respect to the IP address that we are using. So that is wherein we say it that it is a faceless. Now, when you talk about it being a paperless is again, when you see or go back to your discussion as far as law of evidence is concerned, with respect to law of evidence, one of the important principles of law of evidence is Lockhart's rule. Now, what is Lockhart's rule? Lockhart's rule says that if any act is committed, which is an offense, the person who has committed that particular act leaves some or the other impression in that particular place. Okay, it can be anything. It can be blood stains, it can be hair, it can be the fingerprints, it can be some or the other evidence. Now, when you talk about cyberspace, paperless is wherein even with the help of smallest of devices, you are able to what? You are able to commit any particular act which is an offense or which is a crime. And you can do it from anywhere. And not only this, but then you can do it by using someone else's IP address. So this clearly conveys to us the kind of vulnerability that are there as far as cyberspace is concerned. And with this background, we are now facing the challenges as to regulating or governing these crime activity or these criminal offenses or criminal activities in this particular space. Now, taking ahead this discussion, I want you to pay attention to the two images that are there as far as your screen is concerned. Now, this is something, again, this is data wherein different policy think tanks, government organizations are working in order to understand the cyberspace. So when we talk about what cyberspace consists of, basically for us to enter into a cyberspace, the mode of the mechanism is internet. Okay, so once you enter into it, you come to know that okay, there are so many things. But this space, the cyberspace, also has again what? Also have different spaces. And you'll be surprised to know, and these spaces are again surface web, you have deep web, and you have dark web. Again, I'm sure many of you must have heard about all these spaces in the cyberspace. So these spaces wherein we say that the studies, they show that the surface web or the first part of it is basically wherein we are doing maximum of our activities. Okay, so when you talk about all your social media activities and the shopping that you do, all the other online platforms, they are in this 4% of the cyberspace. And then you have deep web, wherein some studies show it is 90%, some studies shows it is 96% containing dark web. Okay, so here again, it is where deep web is, wherein again you have academic databases, you have again medical records, you have financial records, and again these are again documents of the records which are very, very sensitive in nature because our information is stored or information is gathered for some or the other government purposes. Okay, and then we have dark web, which is almost a 6% of your cyberspace, wherein almost all illegal, what you can say, activities go on. You have political protests, you have drug trafficking, you have other illegal activities which are not allowed or permitted as far as physical world is concerned. Unfortunately, what happens is this, that what we know and believe that, okay, this is something that we know about the cyberspace is the 4%. and we are happy and we think that okay, we know everything and nothing wrong can go against us. So what is it? Unfortunately, this belief that we know everything is something that is pushing us and being more and more vulnerable to those who are far ahead of us when it comes to technological advancement. So we are just happy with knowing few things, as far as not even 4% that we are aware of. Out of 4% also we know hardly 1 or 2%. Okay, what exactly is happening when it comes to search engine, etc., how they are fetching our data, how now this whole big data to metadata, this whole journey has happened, is something that is a matter of concern. And this has further resulted into, again, we looking into what kind of crimes which are happening. So this is wherein I want you to pay attention that cyber crimes, irrespective of it is a surface web, irrespective of whether it is a deep web or dark web, in all these places of cyberspace, criminal activities are happening. And these criminal activities are happening because we are using this particular space without being aware of how the data or the usage that we are doing, or the way we are using it, how it is being manipulated against us. There is a wonderful concept that is called as Internet Minute, and I wish to actually share one small video. It is actually little, what you can say, old. So you can imagine that when it comes to what, when it comes to the activities that happen in 1 minute, we call it as a phenomena of the Internet Minute. That means in 60 seconds, what all things happen. So allow me to share that with you all. Tell me if it is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible. Sorry to interrupt, but it's not visible.
Oh, it's not being played? You're unable to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Now? It's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Now it's yes, ma'am. Now visible.
Now it's visible, but I think there's some issue. I'm unable to play it. We already have started getting the queries, questions, how we can know that we are being hacked and all. Probably I'll just answer this at the end of the lecture. So I will just share the link with the organizers, and then probably you can get to know as to how we are being how or what exactly has been happening as far as 1 minute in the internet is concerned. Okay, because there is some issue with the. Yes, let's get back to. Is it visible? Is my presentation visible?
Yes, ma'am. Visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. And it is scrolling also the slides.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So basically, what I wanted to show you, and that is again that particular video which I was trying to screen. It was of 2020. The recent video had some technical issues, so I couldn't actually download it and share with you. But I'll try to share the recent one. What exactly it shows that in 60 seconds, the kind of data that we are generating, and then the data that we are generating is being consumed, is being harvested, is being analyzed, and then gradually is being what? Is being used against us, clearly indicates that our identities which are there in the physical world, wherein we say that we are either a citizen of a particular country, or for that matter we are national of a particular country, state, etc., etc. Our identities as far as nation, as far as cyberspace is concerned, are merely as that of a product. Okay, we don't matter to them as human beings. We are merely a product. There are data brokers. There are again so many corporations who are interested in not in us but in our data. They're interested in the behavior, as in what we do in the cyberspace, and accordingly then they change their business model. You'll be surprised to know that when you talk about Google's business model, Google's business model is nothing but surveillance capitalism. So whatever you're doing, Google knows everything. Okay, and there are studies which are being conducted that even if you switch off your location, you disable your location, you don't have any Wi-Fi connection, you don't have any SIM card, you put your mobile on what you can say flight mode, etc., etc., still Google is in a position to know as to what you have done when it comes to all these things. When you have kept your mobile off, there was no data. Once you switch on the, it is easy for Google to generate what you have done during that particular period. So this is something which I don't know how far you guys are, or how far you all are able to understand the seriousness of it, but it is very serious to come to know that we have been watched every time. Now also we are being watched when it comes to this particular webinar. Now also we are being heard. People are listening to us. So that is wherein it is now difficult to keep yourself safe in true sense as far as cyberspace is concerned. And that takes us to the next question as to why cybercrime matters today. See, in today's life, when you talk about how technology is connected to our life, so technology is connected to us in almost all affairs of our life, whatever we do. Okay, so whether it is again being in touch with your family, friends, or for that matter, whether it comes to your banking, transactions or finances are concerned, you're using banking apps. When it comes to again shopping, etc., etc., again you're dependent on what? You're dependent on the networks or technology per se. So what is it? It is not that the technology is something that we are accepting. It is something wherein it has become the part and parcel of our life. Agreed and accepted that when you talk about technological advancement, it has actually made our life very, very convenient. It made so many things comfortable for us. We don't need to go and stand in queue as far as banks are concerned. It's our money. We are able to we are able to transfer it. We are able to purchase without. So there's a lot of money that is what that is flowing already without there being any hard cash in the market. Okay, so we have moved from hard cash to again plastic money, and now we have digital money, wherein we are talking about cryptocurrency, bitcoins, and etc. etc. So when you talk about our everyday life has resulted into actually making or creating this technological advancement has resulted into creating unprecedented opportunities for us, but at the same time we need to pay attention to this particular fact that it has made our life more and more vulnerable. Okay, so it is very easy when it comes to our, I mean, I don't think that I need to say this, that your phone can get hacked anytime. Okay, I think all the devices, whether it is the device that currently I'm using as far as the desktop is concerned, whether it is laptop or whether it is the mobile phones that you have in your hand, okay, all these devices are already being compromised. Okay, so it is the software that we have in our devices. The company who has made the software knows about it as to how it works, and when the company who made it knows about it, how it works, that means it has access to your device. It is just to some extent that with all these again things at place, whether we talk about again virus protection or whether we talk about so-called 2016 WhatsApp ka end-to-end encryption, these are again the false promises that are being made to us, wherein we are being given this impression that we are safe and secure. However, unfortunately, when you talk about this whole concept of security, it is what? It is security which is again a reality, and security which is a feeling. So when you talk about what, when you talk about cyberspace and the whole concept of security, it is more to do with the feeling of security, wherein all these laws, guidelines, regulations, or for that matter, the technological advancement, wherein we talk about end-to-end encryption, or for that matter, other security softwares are concerned, these are merely the what they offer to us is merely a feeling of security, and thereby then again the whole question comes back as to how do then we secure ourselves, to what extent we can be safe. Okay, so it matters to us, and it will definitely be the matter of concern for years to come, because it is now a part and parcel of our life. How do we define cybercrime in the digital age? Let me not get into the technical, what you can say, meaning or definition per se, but then in simple terms, any crime which is committed using computers, networks, or digital devices against individuals, organization, or governments, that is wherein it actually talks about, in a broader way, cybercrime in digital era. Okay. Now there are different types. It can be against a person, it can be against a property, or it can be again against an organization, government, etc., etc. Depending upon the again what exactly is the impact of it, and how and in what manner it is going to unfold, it can be then accordingly put into different kind of categories. But then normally people are aware about different types, which is like hacking is something which is, I will call it as something very, very outdated now. Okay, phishing is again something. For those who are from technical background, they can understand that these are again types which are a matter of concern for those who are from non-technical background. For them, hacking, phishing, identity theft, all these, or for that matter, ransomware, spam, cyber stalking, cyberbullying, etc., etc. All these are the old terms, but yes, definitely these are a matter of concern in today's scenario when you talk about cyber arrest, etc., etc. Putting someone under a threat, wherein that someone is probably very secure at some other place, and making the other person compromise with the money that they have earned by their sweat and blood. So cyber arrest and all these are the types, and these are all again, cyber crime is ever evolving. The minute we try to address a particular cybercrime, there is a technological advancement, and these people who are there, who are breaking these or are way ahead of those who are into regulatory, making a regulatory framework or enforcement for that matter is concerned. So they are way ahead. I guess I'd say that these people are 10 times ahead of what we are right now when it comes to first understanding what has happened, then trying to tackle it. And by the time we come up with some model to tackle it, it has changed its face. Okay. So this is something which is continuously being posing challenges as far as law enforcement is concerned. If we look into the recent Indian statistics, malware, that is 42%, then potentially unwanted programs, they are 32%, adware is 26%. So these are again what? These are again the ways and mechanism wherein your devices can be compromised, you can be made more and more vulnerable, and there is more and more possibility wherein cybercrime can be committed against you. Notable Indian cases, I'm sure you can look into all these things. All these are again the incidences as far as Indian scenario is concerned. When you talk about cyber fraud related thing, you have Sony Samman case, then Shreya Singhal, you have Arushi Talwar murder case, wherein also digital evidence was used as far as call records are concerned, messages are concerned. Then ransomware attacks on Indian hospitals, cyber stalking and online harassment cases under IT Act and the law of crimes. Then you have 2018 ATM scheming case, which involved HDFC Bank. Then this case, as far as silence on the campus case is concerned, wherein cyberbullying on as well as online harassment was taking place. So all these, and then there is this very big incidence of Cambridge Analytica data leak, which had its impact as far as India also, wherein the data was harvested from the Facebook and then it was used with respect to again continuously. It was basically for the political agenda. There was a political agenda, so that particular data was used with respect to again streamlining things as to whom which particular content is to be what content is to be shared. So this is something wherein we talk about how continuously things are evolving and we are facing newer and newer challenges, whether it is copyright violation, whether it is your what you can say violation as far as freedom of speech and expression is concerned, or for that matter compromising the system, making or holding individuals at stake and demanding what you can say ransom or a money with respect to again threatening them that if they don't pay, the data will be shared, and that data probably can be of sensitive data, images which are very, very private, can be used to blackmail you. So all these things clearly indicates that yes, when you talk about the category of cyber crimes, it is evolving. Okay. What are the jurisdictional complexities? I've already told you that when you talk about cyberspace, it is borderless. So when you talk about traditional territorial jurisdiction, it becomes ineffective because you can't define as to, okay, for this I have the jurisdiction and my country has the jurisdiction and hence my law will be applicable. Okay. There are conflicts which arise as far as applicability of law is concerned, evidence investigations are concerned, and then since technology is ever evolving, when you talk about again enforcement agencies, it becomes really difficult as far as the prosecution is concerned, and these prosecution delays due to the transnational character of most of the cyber offenses. Definitely, India had tried to be signatory to many international conventions, but it definitely at the same time faces certain practical hurdles when you talk about enforcing judgments, gathering evidences across the border. At this juncture, I want you to pay attention, and those who are interested, they can look into certain things. So I want you to actually read about this 2007 attack as far as Estonia and Georgia is concerned. And this attack basically is considered as one of the, again, what? One of the types as far as warfare is concerned. So that is something, these incidences are considered as the beginning of the cyber warfare, okay? The way these two countries were being attacked, it actually resulted into there being all the affairs of that particular country being compromised. Many things were shut down, and it took almost 2 to 3 weeks for even NATO to figure out as to what has happened in that particular country. It was just, they begin with DOS, that is denial of services, and with just denial of services that time in 2007, that it resulted into almost putting two countries standstill, trying to figure out and having no clue as to what is happening, wherein suspending almost all the working of that particular company. It impacted the economy of both the countries. Now herein, what I want you to pay attention to is that we cannot say that I am not doing anything illegal. That is what we believe, okay? We are like, when it comes to cyberspace, this whole anonymity gives us some kind of power to say that, okay, nobody is going to know what I am, who I am, and my identity is different. So that is again something that we fool ourselves with. Okay, so anonymity is something which again creates a lot of challenges as far as governance or regulation of cyber crimes in cyberspace is concerned. So please do read more and more about 2007 Estonia and Georgia attack, wherein you will come to know that crime is again has reached to wherein we can say it to be a cyber warfare. It is impacting individuals of that particular country. Cyber terrorism, wherein we have Section 66F in the Information Technology Act 2000 and 2008 Amendment, which is about, it is no more with respect to merely hacking or something. It is actually putting the affairs of one particular country stand still on hold. So that is something which is a matter of concern, okay? And the challenges that we have is the whole nature of cyberspace, that it is borderless, it is faceless, and it is paperless. So jurisdictional issues are again a matter of concern. I want those who are interested to read Talim Manual. Talim Manual is again nothing but application of the principles of international law in cyberspace with respect to again how to govern things in the cyberspace. Okay, so that is also one wonderful book. I want all of you to actually understand what exactly and how exactly what we do in cyberspace impacts on us. And for this to understand in a better manner, I want all of you, I encourage every one of you to read this particular book, which is Cyber Effects by Mary Etkin. A wonderful book which clearly indicates the behavior of those who are being exposed to the content on the internet or on the devices and its impact. And a lot of studies are being conducted. So that will give you a clarity, and probably you might find it a little scary because subconsciously it is just getting into our own behavior also. So that is again somewhere I will say that it is a matter of concern, and we must have a self-regulation. That means we must regulate ourselves, control our own behavior when it comes to cyberspace. Taking ahead, as far as legal framework in India is concerned, we have Information Technology Act 2000, then amendment of 2008 to IT Act, which covers unauthorized access, hacking, online frauds, data breaches. We have a whole chapter now dedicated as far as crimes is concerned, cyber crimes is concerned. Then we have law of crimes, we have now BANS and other things. But initially we started with the provisions as far as IPC is concerned, wherein whatever the provisions of those acts were, we try to apply them as far as again applying it to the acts done in the cyberspace. So when it comes to again interpreting what is defamation, harassment, stalking, financial fraud in digital context, we begin our journey with applying the law in the real world to the affairs of the virtual world, which further resulted into a lot of challenges, lot of frictions, lot of difficulties. Many judgments of the Supreme Court, whether it is Shreya Singhal with respect to freedom of speech, whether it is K. Puttaswamy as far as privacy is concerned, intermediary liabilities, etc. is concerned. There are many, again, decisions given by the Supreme Court which have, again, further tried to address this whole issue of cybercrime. Recently, 2021 rules of intermediary guidelines and digital media ethics code talks about again how do we fix the liability or set standards for platform responsibility. So the service providers are being held liable for certain things. So we have again safe harbor rule, we have again take down practices, etc., which are mentioned. I'll not go in detail considering the paucity of time and things that I intend to cover in this particular talk. Then when it comes to investigative and prosecutorial challenges, as I've told you, anonymity, the way it gives us a feeling of someone who has got power as far as the rest of the world is concerned, this anonymity and the encryption actually complicates how to and to whom we can attribute the, again, what you can say, this is an issue of attribution back to, again, whom shall be held, who shall be held responsible for a particular act. So anonymity and encryption further complicates traceability of offenders. Law enforcement agencies, if I talk about, then I'll say that unfortunately they are lacking capacity. When you talk about digital tools, when you talk about cross-border cooperation, these are again the things which pose again a lot of challenges and delaying the outcome of the procedure for investigation and enforcement. Judicial delays in cybercrime cases due to technical complexity. Now, what exactly do I mean? I'll just try to simplify this. Unfortunately, many investigating officers are not aware, or rather under the pressure ends up doing something which they are not expected to do. And when it comes to judicial officers, they are not very well conversant with the technical language. Okay, so when you talk about one technical term, that is the hash value. Now, hash value is what? Hash value is something which plays important and dominant role as far as evidence is concerned, cyber evidence is concerned. It is something which talks about the time, or for that matter, the location from there where it has been done. Okay. So, but the thing is this, a single command after committing that particular act, which is a crime, a single command after that changes the hash value. With every input, hash value keeps on changing. And what happens is this, that normally the devices are being switched off and then again switched on, and that results into changing the hash value. अब जैसे ये change हो जाएगा, क्या होता है? It becomes difficult again to what? Again to read that cyber forensic evidence and then make a proper what? Make a proper report out of it. And this is somewhere then the advocates, sometimes those who are very well conversant with the technology, they take or they use this for their client's benefit, stating this, nay, this is not something which was done by my client. Look at the hash value continuously. So it was being manipulated. So the cyber evidence, when you talk about this, it is very fragile. It can be tampered with anytime from anywhere. Okay, so that's what the results can do. I hope I'm making some sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And I will request someone to please mute. Okay, I think I'll be quick with respect to the time that we have at our disposal. Someone just mute your mic, please. Deesha, may I request? I'm able to hear a lot of horns and traffic.
Pratiti, please mute yourself.
Thank you. Okay, so the emerging threats are again your favorite artificial intelligence, okay? The deepfake impersonations, the quantum computing threats. So AI is something which is like artificial intelligence, that is something that we all know about it. But I encourage all of you to read this particular book by Yuval Noah Harari. Okay, the name of the book is Nexus, and you'll come to know that in this particular book, Mr. Yuval Noah Harari has said that this AI is not an artificial intelligence for him. For him, it is alien intelligence. So gradually, when you talk about the way technology is evolving and changing its again role on its own, see, they are now the software is learning on its own also. So what it is doing is that after a point of time, it goes on a self-learning mode. We have again disciplines called machine learning, deep learning, etc., etc. So with the kind of data that it is getting, it is actually making its own analysis, and based on that particular analysis also, it is again what? Coming up with some kind of findings, etc., etc. So when you talk about this artificial intelligence technology is used, which is powered with again malware, it mutates to evade the detection. That means all these technological advancement with the help of artificial intelligence, it becomes very, very difficult to actually stick to the security protocol and make this whole manual threat hunting outdated. So you need more and more advanced technologies when it comes to actually figuring out as to what AI with its software has done and how it has actually hampered a particular system, etc., etc. Deepfake, I'm sure you all are aware of it. It is nothing but impersonation. It is wherein we talk about large-scale automated social engineering that is happening. So here again, with deepfake, I'm sure you must have heard about so many incidences coming in, wherein from anything that is available in the cyberspace, that data can be used and something which never existed can be created. And that clearly indicates the kind of vulnerability of the cyberspace and the technological advancement. If it is used for a good purpose, a legal thing, then it is really good. But unfortunately, human nature is such that we end up using all these things. We end up using all these things for not so good reasons or not so good purpose. Quantum computing is again something wherein technology is so advanced that it can, in fraction of seconds, can easily solve complicated mathematical equations, and then that results into breaking the toughest of the encryptions. The minute the encryption is been broken, you're again open in the cyberspace open for any kind of attack. So these are again the emerging threats wherein we need to be really, really careful. The trends as far as 2025 are concerned, we have zero trust security, we have micro segmentation, we have user content context checks, we have continuous sessions monitoring what we are doing. They are also increasing. There are a lot of Internet of Things devices which are being exploited. देखिए कितना convenient हो गया है that now we have ACs, now we have again robot cleaning devices at home. And when we start from our workplace, we can actually give command, okay, wherein by the time we reach home, either the water is warm or the room is already cold because we could actually switch on the AC from our vehicle, or for that matter, the house is clean. But we need to understand that it further results into what? Further results into the data that is being captured कि हम कितने बजे घर जा रहे हैं, कितने बजे work place छोड़ रहे हैं, and what all things, what all routes that we are taking, etc., etc. That is again something which is a matter of concern. Then we have commercialization. So when you talk about the culture that we had as far as hackers are concerned, okay, hacking is something wherein you enter into breaking someone's code as far as device is concerned, okay. तो पहले क्या था? पहले when you talk about hackers culture, it was one or two people who used to have that technical what you can say knowledge. अभी क्या हो गया है? Now these people, they provide hacking also as a services. So those who are not expert in technology also, they can actually rent a particular AI tool or a service from a particular hacker, and then they can actually create or go ahead with some kind of attack or criminal activities in the web, okay. It can be harassing someone individually, it can be maligning the reputation of an individual in the cyberspace, it can be doing a financial fraud, etc., etc. So these are now new trends wherein it is again posing a lot of challenges and complications with respect to cyber law enforcement. What are the preventions as far as individuals and institutions are concerned? So as far as individual level is concerned, I'm sure you must have seen it, read it, heard it, because nowadays many banks or many other what you can say enforcement agencies, for example, when you talk about police, they're actually doing these capacity building awareness programs extensively, wherein time and again they are saying that keep your software updated, antivirus updated, use strong and unique password or password managers, be cautious of opening email attachments and clicking unknown links, otherwise you're all welcome in the phishing attack zone, and then enable two-factor or three-factor, 3 stages authentication, and please get yourself aware and educated about the common scams. So these are certain things which can be done at the individual level when you talk about preventing yourself or protecting yourself. Not that this will save you, but then probably this will just delay certain things, okay? Or this can postpone certain things, and this can make you a little less vulnerable as compared to others, okay? Then comes the institutional level. As far as institutional level is concerned, you have the institutions or the organizations are expected to go for a periodic security audits, updating firewalls and codes, regular staff training, maintaining the air gap systems, etc., etc., enforce strict access protocols, all these things. Unfortunately, what happens is this, that when it comes to this particular institutional level prevention and security is concerned, again, there are a lot of issues that we face, and these issues are, they're not very well or they're not open for all the regulations that the nation states are wanting to enforce, because they think that following everything will put their business model into or compromise, because they say that it is the data, it is the confidentiality, it is the privacy of our customers or users that is something which keeps us going or gets us going in the business. And with this whole your security audits, etc., this and data sharing agreements, etc., all these things will put their business model at a risk, and then they will lose on customers or users. So a lot of reluctance on the part of these stakeholders is being seen. But yes, now it is something wherein we say that all these security audits are necessary. I will encourage more and more participants to look into, again, what can be said, doing more and more courses as far as data operators, DPOs are concerned, data protection officers are concerned. There are many courses which are offered by Data Security Council of India. Please go ahead, please do it, because with the DPDPA Act now soon we will be having it as a mandatory to have the data protection officers in all the organization. The combination of law with these certifications and some basic technical again certifications will actually make you someone indispensable in today's scenario. So I encourage all of you to take up more and more what you can say certifications as to what you can say privacy is concerned, cyber law is concerned. There are many platforms who are offering, but I think DSCI is one of the government subsidiary. So the again, when you talk about certification and all that, it is authenticated. Okay. Then if you want to go ahead with international thing, then you can do the certificate in international privacy professionals as far as IAPP is concerned. Which is International Association for Privacy Professional, and then you have what you have a sea of opportunities open for you, which is again something which not many are aware of it. So what is it when you talk about institutional level also? There are again mechanisms which are at place where prevention is possible, and there can be a delay when it comes to a compromise of that particular system. Focusing, taking ahead with the women as a category is concerned, women and cyber crimes, there are different challenges that women as a gender in cyberspace faces. I mean, we're still struggling to deal with the crimes that are happening against women in real or physical world, and now we are actually faced or there to deal with the crimes which are happening in the cyberspace. We are still dealing with how to tackle this whole offense or a crime of rape, and now we are here to address the concept called virtual rape. So the challenges are like when you talk about cyber stalking, harassment, non-consensual sharing of images, online abuse, or for that matter, privacy violations, wherein using the images or videos conveniently and making some other content, they actually end up disproportionately affecting the women. We definitely have certain sections which actually take care of the dignity or the modesty of the woman. In IT, we have 6060, 67, 67A, B. Then we are still in the process of shifting to BNSS and other new law of crime mechanism. But as far as the old one is concerned, IPC had 354A, 354C, and 354D, which actually specifically addresses privacy violations, obscene material, stalking, harassment, and defamation in real world, physical world, which are been applicable in the cyberspace also. Capacity buildings of law enforcement, public awareness, legal remedies, all these things are necessary. Digital literacy, for that matter, are something which are essential to address this whole gendered cyber violence. Again, I'll bring it back to your notice attention that anonymity is something which gives us this power to say anything in the cyberspace without understanding the impact that it can have on someone's life. And at this juncture, let me tell you that even if the companies have so beautifully have beautifully created this particular again command wherein control alt delete is something wherein a window pops up and then it asks that do you want to permanently delete something. Let me tell you that nothing gets deleted from the cyberspace. Okay, this command of you deleting something is also stored somewhere in the again what you can say servers, and we all know that data can be retrieved anytime with some technical expertise. So just be very careful when it comes to how you actually there. I mean, when it comes to cyber hygiene, that is something which should be taught in the school itself, elementary level पे ही पढ़ाना चाहिए. But unfortunately, we are still struggling with the whole what you can say difficulties and the challenges that we have in the cyberspace. So what we need to have is for women, we should have a women-centric support cells. There should be a prosecution which can be expedited. There should be more and more helplines. And how we approach the women-related issues, that is something which requires attention. So restorative justice approaches are required. Future directions, policy research and advocacy, more and more students should get into knowing more and more things when it comes to the interdisciplinary study as far as law and technology is concerned. Fortunately, this is a very good time where in India we have this culture of having more and more policy think tanks which are now on discussing as to the intersection between law and technology, talking more and more about crimes, policies, look into it, try to understand it, do more and more research, contribute more and more into policy making, try to fight the matters which are like, again, with the help of technology, they have what? With the help of technology, they are like impacting everyday life. So litigations also is something wherein in days to come you will find that more and more matters are going to be there as far as law of crimes, civil matters are concerned, and other constitutional matters, international matters are concerned. So these are again wherein the participants, those who are law students, non-law students, they can look into it. There's a lot of scope when it comes to your future. And at the end, if you have any questions and if time permits, I'll be happy to take a question and answers. And if not, then this is my email ID. I'll be happy to address your mail ID, your questions on this particular mail ID. And yes, I tried to make sense. I hope I made some sense. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deesha, for the informative session. Now it's time for our question answer segment. You can type your questions in the chat or you can even raise your hands if you would like to ask more. Thank you.
Naina, we can have it really quick because I have a meeting scheduled in another 10 minutes. So, else what you can do is you can just collect the questions. I'll just answer them and I'll share them. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Can we just cover the questions circulated in the chat?
Yes, I'm just trying to actually read it. How can we protect ourselves online? I think this is something which I've already covered. just see to it that you have a strong password, see to it that you don't keep your accounts open, even if it is like really tiresome to enter the details as far as username and password is concerned. Please follow it. Have I mean 2 or 3 factor authentication. Okay. I mean, precaution, take more and more precaution. Share less and less of information about your own self. You don't have to, I mean, just be yourself, and don't be the part of a herd, or don't be a part of a culture which is not yet strong enough to define as to how it is going to interpret things. So just because people are doing certain things, sharing everything about them, you should not be falling prey to it, should not be feeling the peer pressure. The lesser you share, the better you are secured. How we are able to know that we have been hacked or attacked? Arvind, basically, Vita, I mean, there are softwares which can help you to understand that whether your device has been compromised or not. You can look into it, you can search in different search engines. But I mean, I'm into this field for last like from 2008. I mean, before that also, but 2008 onwards, I'm like totally into law and technology. So based on whatever I had studied, Vida, it is like all the devices are already being compromised. So I mean, it is difficult to then say कि अभी hack हुआ है या तभी attack हुआ है. You come to know whenever you get certain unwarranted, unwanted, what you can say, text. Okay, just be very careful when you receive any link. It must have HTTPS. If S is not there, don't click on that particular link, because by clicking on that particular link, you will be it's like you'll be opening doors for the hackers and the attackers. Okay, so just be careful. I think if need be, in future we can definitely have certain what you can say sessions on cyber hygiene. So it is basically, from my point of view, all the devices are already been compromised, and you get to know when you get unwarranted, unwanted information, advertisements on your screen. What can we do to protect the children in online? Yeah, first and foremost is like we call it as by design, control by design. Okay? So there are many features that are now being offered, right? That parental controls are there. So see to it that parental controls are not being again broken by the children. Okay? You can always see. You should regularly keep on looking as to what exactly is being searched by that particular child. So the history is always there, and from that you will come to know that what all things are been, all sites are been visited, and whether there is any harm, or whether the child has actually opened himself or herself to some offending or things which are a matter of concern. Okay, so look at those, have a parental control at place, have again a proper continuous history, visit their history, what they have watched and all not. And these are again things which are easily being available in the search engines. You just can write down and find for yourself as to how you can see the history as far as usage of a particular service is concerned. तो हम गूगल में अगर जाते हैं तो गूगल की सेटिंग में अपने अपने पर्सनल अकाउंट्स पे you have again certain functions which clearly indicates that you can look into what are the timelines, what are the again what you say the websites which are visited. So this is something which can be done for the kids. You can actually fix the screen time of the kid. So you have different again options which are there, which you can use with respect to again the device that you have. Okay. Then there is can we okay. You want a PDF and PPT. Yeah, definitely. I'll share it with the organizers. Um, then there is, I think, what when we are dealing with the vast amount of data, I believe DPDPA Act also comes into play. Then what are the larger implications of the forthcoming Act not being retrospective? Oh, with due respect, Hamsa, I have my concerns with respect to DPDPA Act being enforced itself. ठीक है? Prospectively be enforced होने के बाद we are going to have lot of difficulty. Imagine it being retrospectively. We cannot have DPDPA Act being retrospective and then trying to address things. Let's have it. I mean, the enforcement of it is implementation is due. We are just in a process of getting ready when it comes to we can implement DPDPA Act. So it is very, very difficult. I have my own concerns when it comes to different provisions of DPDPA Act. For example, when you talk about the one of the provisions as far as right to be forgotten, or for that matter, the retention of the data is concerned, these are again the provisions for which we as a country are still not ready. Okay, so when you talk about again right to be forgotten, removal of the data, etc., there is a long way. So prospectively भी अगर हम इसको बहुत अच्छे से implement कर पाए, then also it will be something wherein we will be in a position to save ourselves. Retention of data, we do not have enough of again infrastructure wherein we are now saying that the foreign companies and all should retain the data if they are doing business in India, so that then we have again certain rules, guidelines wherein we can control the data flow from one jurisdiction to other jurisdiction. So I think let us first look into what DPDPA Act is, for which again a number of sessions would not even be enough to understand it in detail. Okay, so I think a long way to go. Data that can be regulated within India with an enactment. Nay, this is not a very good way of saying this. Because, I mean, what you've written, Hamsa, is this, that an enactment of our own without reliance on the GDPR. You'll be surprised to know that when you talk of DPDPA Act, it is actually what is mentioned in GDPR. Many things are there in DPDPA Act, okay? So, you cannot say that we can't rely or we don't rely on DPDPA Act. I mean, let me tell you that when I was writing my examination as a CIPPE, that is, I'm a certified international privacy professional for European countries. That time I have read GDPR. And when I read DPDPA Act, I could hardly find any or much difference. So basically, it's going to be a task, and we cannot actually separate DPDPA from GDPR. Okay, so I think it goes hand in hand. So it is better that we are well aware of GDPR also, and that will help us to understand the international scenario, and from that we can definitely further try to have a proper regulation and control as far as cybercrime is concerned. I hope I have answered most of the queries. Yes, Naina.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deesha, for sharing your invaluable expertise with us today. It's my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of MLRC. I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to all the participants for joining us today and making the webinar a success. We hope the insights shared today will help you enhance your understanding on cybercrime and empower you to contribute to the safer digital space in your communities in the professions. Lastly, I would like to thank our National President Vaishnavi Murthy ma'am
National Vice President Adhika Gupta ma'am, Vanshika Shukla, and our entire team of MLRC members for being the backbone of this organization, for their strong work ethics, commitment, and passion to connect with citizens from heart to heart. Thank you once again, and we look forward for seeing you more in our future events. Lastly, feedback form is shared in the chat box. Kindly fill the same as the link will be closed by 12. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you to all the participants.
Thank you very much, everyone. And I hope I made some sense. And feel free to reach out to me if you have any queries. Thank you.